Hi, my name is Jordan Brannon and I'm the president at Coalition Technologies. Coalition is one of the leading e-commerce agencies in the United States today. For the last 10 years, we've been really proud to be one of the independent voices in e-commerce that really helps merchants understand what e-commerce platform is going to be best for their particular store. And a great example of this is our recommendations of Shopify and BigCommerce to many merchants. We started working with both of those platforms over a decade ago when they were really small fish in a rather big ecosystem. We loved a couple of different things about them, and we loved them so much that we really felt like we had to advocate for those two platforms for merchants against bigger, better known competitors like Magento or WooCommerce. Now, other brands and other e-commerce agencies certainly recommend Shopify and BigCommerce today, but really what sets us apart is our ability to identify what the leading e-commerce platforms are, how those things have changed over time, and continue to provide independent recommendations of those e-commerce platforms based on their merits for your business. And that's something that we do really, really well. So today I want to talk specifically about BigCommerce. It's in the press a lot as it nears its IPO, which we've expected for a little while. But really we expect that BigCommerce is going to see a lot of explosion and interest and growth in the next year or two. And so we want to talk about some of the things that we really love about BigCommerce and maybe specific instances where we feel like BigCommerce has some advantages over other platforms. BigCommerce came out of the small business focused Saas or software as a service use case. It really was designed as a platform that was very affordable, had a low monthly fee, and was easy for new e-commerce brands or merchants to get set up on and begin to successfully sell online as they saw the internet and e-commerce take over. Now, back then, BigCommerce was really in sort of lockstep competition with Shopify. They both really focused on similar audiences, their features were fairly competitive to one another, and ultimately it really felt like you were sort of dealing with two sides of the same coin when you were comparing BigCommerce and Shopify. When Shopify started to move towards its IPO, it really pivoted to emphasize features that were more appealing to micro merchants and people who were just getting into e-commerce and maybe lacked technological savviness, and that really became their core audience. BigCommerce tried to make a better distinction for itself by focusing on e-commerce businesses that were perhaps more established or businesses that were looking at setting up an e-commerce store, but ultimately had more complexity and needed more maturity in their e-commerce feature set and functionality. Really about 2014 to 2015, we started to see those platforms diverge more. Although in the last year or so, we've seen them sort of merge back into the same lanes for kind of the desirable established small business, mid-sized business, and small enterprise categories. Now, BigCommerce really differentiated itself from Shopify and other platforms in a few areas, and these are really some of the big things that we love about BigCommerce. First, you have all of the advantages of SaaS or software as a service. BigCommerce is highly scalable, it's highly secure, and as a brand, when BigCommerce rolls out new features or new support or new functionality, you get to be the beneficiary of that without having to own the ongoing development cost and support cost like you would with a hosted platform like Magento or an open source platform like WooCommerce or an enterprise on-premise platform that maybe was deployed specifically into a server environment which you own. And so that's really a big attractive feature for BigCommerce. You basically get all the benefits of having an IT team and an e-commerce development team building out a more robust platform for you, but you get that for a low monthly fee without having all of that sort of extra HR cost or agency costs and things like that. Now, BigCommerce is also really easy to use. It sometimes has had a reputation as not being as easy as some platforms, and really, in our comparison, it scores almost as highly as Shopify in ease of use as a category. It does offer more out-of-the-box features than Shopify, and so that sometimes layers in some extra complexity, which again can mask itself as being sort of unnecessary or making things more difficult. But frankly, if you're a brand and you need those features, you'll take that little bit of complexity over that simplicity to get the feature that you need. It isn't nearly as complex as traditional Magento deployments or WooCommerce deployments, and certainly it's not as hard to navigate as platforms like Demandware Commerce Cloud, Hybris, those sorts, Suite Commerce, things of that nature. Quite a bit easier to do. You can drop into the admin and you can pretty intuitively begin to navigate from store management element to store management element. And if you don't know what you're doing, if you do get lost, there is really fantastic tutorial material that is kept up to date. They have a great support team, which is another thing we love about BigCommerce, that is available 24/7. And there's a really fantastic community of BigCommerce merchants out there and agencies like ours who can provide support for you if you run into a more unique barrier or limitation that you can't find tutorial documentation for. So that's sort of one of the things that we love about BigCommerce. Now, again, I mentioned this a couple of times already, but BigCommerce really is built to support more complex use cases. They use the term open SaaS to describe what their target is. And open SaaS means that they're going to give you all of the richness and robustness and simplicity that you can get from a software as a service, but they're going to open up certain elements of their e-commerce platform that you may not get from other SaaS providers. And those open elements are going to allow you to do things that are a bit more complex and a bit more unique for your business than what you maybe are seeing other businesses in different categories doing. BigCommerce really has a high win rate with merchants who are operating large catalogs with a lot of different options or variables assessed to them. A couple of examples of this may be clients who are selling in the automotive or auto parts categories, clients who are selling in technical or technological or electrical or industrial sort of categories where you're dealing with a lot of components, a lot of specifications, and so the user experience is a bit more technically focused. BigCommerce, hands down, is one of the best SaaS platforms out there, if not the best SaaS platform out there for a merchant like that. Another area of real strength is its ability to support highly complex pricing and discounting needs. Magento traditionally has been a hands-down winner here with multi-site and multi-store, customer group pricing, customer count pricing, the ability to customize your attribute models extensively, all in the native Magento platform. It really has allowed for a ton of different pricing and discounting variation on a per merchant basis, and even within the same store you can do a lot. And BigCommerce is really the only SaaS platform that we've seen be able to successfully do that. It's better than Volusion, it's better than Shopify natively, and so it does quite a bit without the need of extra apps. And so it natively includes different functionality like more robust option sets, which can be tied to pricing and discount rules, so you don't have a limit on the number of options you can have on a per product basis. You can do pricing discounts on customer group or customer count bases. You can do tiered pricing or volume pricing type discounts if that's something of interest to you. And all of these discounts, many of them can actually be layered into conjunction with one another to really create nuanced purchasing and discounting type experience for your customers. So if you're in a situation where you're selling into multiple retailer categories, maybe you have some very small boutiques that are buying from you as a wholesaler, and maybe you have some larger retail chains that are also buying from you, BigCommerce could be a great platform for you because it'll support that sort of more complex buyer need. Another component of what we really love about BigCommerce is its ability to provide a lot of openness, which we touched on a bit earlier. BigCommerce has one of the most robust APIs in terms of read, write, delete, and edit sort of functionality. You can really create a lot of nuanced app experiences, either specific to your store or for commercial release. And you can also just do a lot of sort of custom presentations and customer experience or merchandising updates just based on some of these open functions that BigCommerce is making available to you through custom fields with customer accounts, custom fields with products, things of that nature. And so really that open SaaS is one of the big things about BigCommerce that we love. They've done really a fantastic job with the merchants that we've worked with them on. We've been really pleased to be able to recommend BigCommerce on that front. It's not the perfect platform for everybody. Most platforms will come up short in some areas, and in some instances we'll recommend other BigCommerce competitors over that platform. But these are sort of the big areas that we love about BigCommerce, and if you come in a preliminary RFQ and sort of want to know why we might steer you towards BigCommerce, those are some of the reasons. I hope that's helpful in your platform decision making and evaluation process. If you'd like to have more of a detailed RFQ and discovery process, please do reach out to us. We'll provide that as a complimentary, no-charge service to you to help you pick the right platform. We have so many great reviews based on the fact that we've helped merchants land in the right software solution, and we'd love to have you added to that list. If you have further questions, would like to read more, we'll have a link to our website in the YouTube description. Feel free to ask questions in the comments section here, or reach out to us via our social media channel or again on our website. Thank you and goodbye.